So, I'd say it's been a while, but that's probably a bit of an understatement. I mean, 6.5 years. That's certainly an interesting amount of time to have between videos, and if you're still here after all that time, I commend you for your patience. But, having become involved in the community again, I figured I might as well speak candidly and provide an update to let you know what actually happened to this channel, because I suppose the conclusion, 6.5 years late, is better than nothing, right? Firstly, I'd like to also take some time to explain the history of this channel, as I think it gives some important background which could help explain my reasoning for doing things the way I have. So I've decided to talk you through it in this little retrospective video, and at the end, I'll explain my plans for the future. I created my channel in 2011 and discovered BFDI in the same year. At this time, the community was still incredibly small and much more niche than today. There was only a couple hundred people at most. It wasn't too long after that I discovered Kari's amazing Marble Race series, and to 8-year-old me, this was absolutely mind-blowing, and I really wanted to make some videos like that of my own. I figured I'd just download Algodoo and that would be that. But at this point in time, Algodoo was a paid product, so being 8, I had to make do with a free alternative, fun. Now, fun generally was fit for purpose if I wanted to make similar videos, just with less features and no time scripting, which I don't think I'd have been really capable of understanding at that age anyway. So, in 2012, I made my very first marble race, which was Olympics themed. Topical, I know, and I actually still have it sitting around on an old laptop. I should warn you that however bad you expect it to be, I guarantee you, it's even worse than that. Somehow, I was very proud of this, and kept making more as time went on, but it definitely took a very long time for quality to improve. 10 years ago to the day, I uploaded my first Algodoo, or fun, videos to YouTube, Amazing Marble Race Part 1. And then didn't upload another for the better part of a year. This really set a precedent for the frequency of uploads to my channel. In February 2015, I made my first Algodoo series. It only took about a week, and I think it really shows. But I was passionate about it, and I enjoyed making it. I never originally intended to release it on YouTube. In actual fact, I never released the vast majority of Algodoo projects I worked on at this time, probably for the best, because they were all pretty bad. So why did I change my mind? Well, I had a competition going with a friend from school to see who could be the first to reach 100 subscribers. And I was thinking, well, I'm sitting on all this finished content, I might as well release it and just see how it does. I decided to continue my Marble Race series too, because why not? And I was surprised that they both managed to get a decent reception from the community. So I thought, why stop there? I made plans for an Algodoo and thought even with spending more time on events and presentation, I could probably finish it off by the end of the summer and move on to something else. That definitely aged well. Many people have asked why I included Minnesota in the Algodoo. The truth is, someone voted for it, and I had too little backbone to exclude it. I was still only 11 at this time, and eager to make everyone happy. This is also the reason that the original Day 3, which I don't think many people even saw, was removed. I originally had done a Plinko event that someone had suggested, and the first person to comment accused me of copying someone else, which terrified me, so I scrambled to put together something different. Yeah, I clearly dealt with criticism very well. Not too long after this, I began to experience burnout for the first time, and stopped creating Algodoo content for a while. I felt guilty about abandoning my channel, and that made me more hesitant to come back, because I didn't want to face the music. It was also around this time that I became unhappy with my recording and editing softwares, Hypercam and Windows Movie Maker, so not exactly paragons of high quality. Eventually, in March 2016, during the early days of TWOW, where the community felt like it was reaching new heights, I decided to return, and actually managed to get through a decent chunk of Algodoo before that same burnout returned. Editing videos with Movie Maker became a slog, and it began causing artifacts to appear in videos which made me even more hesitant to release them because they looked terrible. For example, in August 2016 I announced a viewer marble race, and I actually completed both the course and recording for this. But after processing it with Movie Maker, the artifacts were so severe that you couldn't really tell what was going on the screen, so I just abandoned it. By the time I'd purchased another editing software, Sony Vegas, in December 2016, I'd then become tired of Algodoo content, with the following Algodoo videos being made not because I was passionate anymore, but because I just wanted to get the series over and done with. I only ever managed to get a handful of videos done in the first 10 months or so of owning Sony Vegas. It's at this point where I should mention that in 2016-2017, I was very active in another community, the mapping community, which I'm sure some of you are familiar with. I tended to switch periodically between creating Algodoo content on sc9849 and mapping content on my other channels, first Caledonian Mapper and later Highland Mapping. These series offered me more creative control, which was definitely a welcome change from the rigid format of Algodoo and Pentathlon. In November 2017, I had a spark of inspiration. I thought that maybe starting fresh with a new Algodoo with a decent and consistent quality throughout, and fun little animations, would bring back my passion for creating Algodoo content. And for a while it did. I'm still not sure why, but this series really was lightning in a bottle. 3.1 million views for day one is absolutely insane, and more than I could ever have hoped to achieve when I began making content. By this point, I had become more of a perfectionist to my own detriment. Day 3's event was hurdles, but it was originally intended to be steeplechase. However, I was unable to realise a steeplechase event that I was happy with, which demotivated me and caused me to abandon the series. I didn't want to continue on when I knew I'd have to make sacrifices, and that I wouldn't be able to live up to the original plan I'd envisioned. My motivation didn't return within a few months like it usually did. I remained out of the Algodoo community for years, and even my mapping content eventually slowed and stopped. Honestly speaking, I figured I just reached a point in my life where creating content was no longer something I enjoyed doing, and I rarely thought about my channel or series. Maybe once in a blue moon I'd check the comments and feel that guilt again. How would people feel if you randomly waltzed in after 3 years and dropped a video like nothing had changed? Was the community even still the same? Was it even still alive? I decided to check out a few videos. It had definitely evolved a lot since I was last active. Most people who were around in 2015-2017 had gone, but there were still lots of new creators, and it seemed Algodoo content had evolved to be more skit heavy. In early 2021, I decided to bite the bullet and see if I could make a new series that could fit in with this new paradigm of Algodoo content. I decided to create a new channel, Eaglefern, and leave this one behind. I aimed to make the videos in Eaglefern high quality and engaging throughout, and I was pleasantly surprised by the warm reception the videos received from the community. However, I mentioned before that my perfectionist tendencies tended to get in the way of creating content, and this became even more clear when I was working on Eaglefern. I actually completed a lot of day 3. Both the skit and event were recorded and edited. I don't currently have access to the laptop that the day 3 file is stored on, but I plan to release it unfinished once I do. But there were so many things I wasn't happy with, and again, it really burned me out. I thought the event probably looked too unfair. I felt like the skits were taking too long to make. I despaired about how long it would take to get through an entire series. So, once again, I decided to withdraw from the community. 2021 was also a big year for me personally. I got my first job, I went off to uni, etc. Things that tend to take your mind off creating content. Besides, it was around this point where I began thinking Algodoo was really showing its age and not really suitable for the scope of content that I wanted to make. So why did I decide to come back and make this video after all this time? The answer is eWow. While I was active in the community before, I never really engaged with it, and my interactions were limited to YouTube really. But on a whim, I decided to join the eWow Discord, and now, actually being able to speak to people in the community, it's no wonder I burned out so easily being isolated from it. That's the past covered, and now we need to talk about the future. Eaglefern, sc9849, Highland Mapping. I have a fair number of unfinished series in all these channels. I suppose the big question is, are they cancelled? And at the moment, unfortunately, the answer is yes. At this point in my life, I simply do not have the drive nor the time to continue with any of these series. I'm very sorry for this, but at the same time it's a relief to be able to get this off my chest after all this time. So, what happens now? I still do get the occasional sparks of inspiration to create content. And after this summer, it's possible that I'll be at a point in my life where I might be able to focus more on passion projects for a while. What they might be, I don't know right now, but I will try to keep everything I post on one channel, Scorb, which seems to be the username I use for everything online now. I can't promise anything right now, but I'd like to continue to create content that's niche but accessible, so in the same vein as Algodoo content or mapping. I suppose there's not much left to say, but thank you. Thank you for following all the little series I've posted over the years, and thank you for watching this video. Goodbye.